This rhythmic, dynamic limbering and progression up systemically to get yourself into the ranges of your trainings in terms of heart rate and power and speed.
Hi, welcome to the Judy Torel Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize everybody 50, 60, 70, and above.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Judy Torel Show. And if you're tuning into this episode, then you are in my series number 6. And my topic is how to train as an endurance athlete when you're over 60. This is episode number 5, and we have covered, what are some of the subject matter that comes into play, as an endurance athlete when you're over 60, some topics, the salient topics that are important, intensity work, long duration work, things along those lines, defining our terms. And then I covered how to schedule in high intensity trainings, how to scheduling the long endurance workouts, the variation in, 1 week block versus a 9-day block versus a 14-day block, and how to schedule that as an over 60 person and what's important about that. The last episode, we talked about metrics and what to track in your body biologically and when you're out training, so that you can kind of get insight as to when you're overtraining before you actually, are so fatigued that you've dug yourself into a hole that's very difficult to pull out of. And now today, what I want to cover is some other, things that go into what you have to do as an over 60 athlete so you can continue to be able to train and race, of course, and not get injured and to, guard against this fatigue and the factors that come in that occur that make someone over 60 have to modify their training or drop out of their training because it's just so exhausting and overwhelming. So the things I'm going to talk about in today's episode are adjuncts to your actual training, but have to be a part of your training plan, even though they're not directly training related. All right. So the first thing I'm going to tell you, as an over 60 athlete myself, who's got an Ironman number 11 for me in about 3 weeks, one of the most important things that we have to do as over 60 athletes is you have to limber up and warm up before you do your warm up, before you go out and start your activity at a lower level and increase up into your full intensity. All right. That's a big mouthful right there. But I watch younger people like come into my gym and, they're going to do a training. They jump right on the treadmill and boom, they're right up into their, full pace within 30 seconds. If I tried to do that, I'd be in pain. It would hurt me, and I'm not ready for that, that immediately. So I have to do a limbering routine where I am not static stretching my muscles, but where I'm actually rhythmically warming up, like shoulder circles and dynamic reaches and knees up and kickbacks, butt kicks, progressively hamstring stretch, rhythmically doing it up and down, a rhythmic like movement of the muscles through their ranges of motion from a small into a medium into large. And so I am now when I'm conditioning the muscles to be able to then start the firing pattern when I might get on my bike. And I'm going to start at a slower pace and then, over the period of about 5 minutes or so, get up to my full, intensity pace and start my workout. This rhythmic, dynamic limbering and progression up systemically to get yourself into the ranges of your trainings in terms of heart rate and power and speed is even more important, in my opinion, than static stretches, which is also important and has to come at the end of a workout. But if you miss the static stretching part, that's, you need that, but it's not going to be as important as the limbering up phase before you go out and hit your strides in your workouts. That dynamic limbering is so much more important because you'll go out and you might start working out or start a training and not have limbered up first. And you will, your body will, adapt and start to output the way you want it to, but it'll be on the back end, like 3 or 4 hours after your training or the next day, where you're going to recognize that you are now extra sore or you actually pulled something. And it's because you went up to speed too rapidly and you didn't give your body the time it needs for the joints, the ligaments, the tendons, and the soft tissue muscles to actually, progressively get up to speed. If you think about a car in the winter with leather seats, if you get in there, they're very brittle. And then, if you put the seat heater on and the heater in the car, after a couple minutes, that becomes more supple. That's a metaphor for what's going on with your joints and your ligaments, your tendons, and your muscles. And when you're over 60, that dynamic limbering and then progression up to your output in it taking a little bit longer to do that when you are in your younger years is very, very, very important for avoiding these chronic tendinitises, bursitis, just soreness and soft tissue, muscle, belly, discomfort after the workout or the next day. So the dynamic limbering, imperative. I can't say enough about how imperative that is. All right. So that's number one. Number two, self-massage or professional massage. So our bodies, over 60 will take the brunt of our trainings, but if you can build in self-massage with again, there's some great equipment out here, these massage guns that you can buy online, in stores, where it's, vibrational massage at the end of a device that you have. And you've seen these online. You've seen them. Everybody's seen them. They're in the expos and the races that we are participating in. They're on Facebook pages. They're all over the place. You'll be able to see them if you just Google, massage guns. And you'll see what I'm talking about. I have one that I use every single day. It is just something that, professional athletes that are younger have massage therapists that travel with them on location to their races and, their travels for their races. Most of us age groupers are definitely over 60. We don't have, a massage person we're going to hire that can travel around with us. So having these devices that we can have in our homes and also travel with us when we go on on location to racing is what they do is it just helps, to help the circulation in that area, the muscle, where you're getting blood flow into the area, which is going to bring nutrition into it. It's going to help blood flow out of the area, which is removing the waste products. It's going to break up knots and fibrosing that we don't want, but that build up as we're training, and they build up at an even higher amount when we're over 60. And yes, you can use foam rollers and the stick and other massage devices that can travel with you. I just happen to think now that, I don't know, about 5-7 years ago, they came out with these massage guns, and I feel that they are, much more effective over these other devices that they all work, but it's just my opinion that these massage guns are better. So I recommend getting them and then using them on a daily basis as part of your training, but part of your recovery. Now, I also recommend you get a professional massage. Some people can afford them, some people can't. Whatever frequency, if you can afford it, once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, once every 6 weeks. But trying to build that in when you're over 60 is also very, very, very helpful and important. And you don't have to do a full hour if you can get a 30-minute session in, and then you're supplementing that with the massage guns or the other tools that I just mentioned. But the point being, part of your daily training has to be some sort of muscle massage, whether it be self or professional, just because it's going to aid the recovery process. And we need more recovery as we're over 60 in order to do the trainings that we want and need to do in order to participate in our events. So we need the self massage. Next thing is heat. I use a cream. It could be BioFreeze. It could be Icy Hot. It could be Arnica cream. It could be any number of salves that are out there. And there's debate as to whether or not they do anything. But why I like to use them I'll put them on areas like my upper trapezius area. If you've got a lower back that tends to get tweaky. Right now, I'm using any one of these products on my calves because they're very tight from prior trainings, a couple, that I'm doing. And then I want to start a new training. And what they do is they open up the capillarization in that area, bringing more blood flow. And again, so helping to like limber and warm up the muscle, just like a dancer would do if they were warming up for their trainings, and they put leg warmers on. So that the muscles stay supple and loose as they're doing their warm-ups and then into their actual trainings that they're doing. Same thing for us, endurance athletes participating in triathlons and running events and cycling events and swimming events at an endurance distance when we're over 60. So, heat via these, various outside topically applied to areas of our body that we know are chronically tight or chronically, being used at a higher level. And this is an area of, everybody has an areas, one or two or more of their body where you tend to carry, you get tighter. Very frequently it's the upper shoulder, lower neck, lower back, and then a muscle group that's being used a lot: quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, calves. If you're a swimmer, it might be your trapezius, rhomboids, deltoids. So if you're on the planet and you're an athlete over 60, this is not new to you where your areas are. So just topically applying these creams so that they're warming up, and putting that on before you do your dynamic limbering will be very helpful to avoid overtraining at the muscular level. Another method that is in the recovery topic theme is compression. Compression socks, compression sleeves, compression tights, compression shirts. They are designed to increase venous return. So, it's taking the blood flow and the waste it's helping the body to carry the waste products out of your legs and out of your working muscles in your upper body and back towards the heart, where it then gets taken out through the pulmonary arteries and out through the various ways that your body has of, dealing with the metabolic wastes. So the compression clothing helps your venous return to get the waste products out and not pool in the areas where you are working in your trainings. So as a 60 plus endurance athlete, that, our circulatory system, even as those of us who have been athletic or, into our 60s, way better than somebody who's sedentary, but still not as good as when we were 40 and 30 and 20. So these compression wear is very helpful and is relatively easy to use. And if you're living in a hot area or it's the season you're training in, I live in the Northeast. It's not hot all the way year round, but it is in the summer. Might not wear the compression clothing while you're actually doing the trainings, but you might come home, take your shower, and then put on some compression clothing after the trainings just to help, like I said, that venous return to clear waste products and avoid unnecessary muscle soreness and fatigue. So those are my biggies for the over 60, that are adjuncts to your actual training and your training plan and how you're putting your blocks together, but are necessary if you want to keep training and avoid undue fatigue, muscle ache, and just that muscles talking to you and joints talking to you post trainings and in between trainings, and that will keep you training and help you to avoid some repetitive injury type things that come up for anybody who's training for endurance sport, but specifically and even more so for people who are over 60. So these are adjuncts added to your trainings that are, I put them in the training category. When I'm coaching my athletes who are over 50, definitely, and over 60 and 70, I build in the things I just talked about into their training plan. So in addition to giving, this is, a hill repeat workout that you want to do on your bike, I'll say dynamic limbering in the description of what to do. I'll say, when you get home, after you take your shower, before you go to bed, use your massage gun. I'm actually putting that into their training plan because when you're over 60, it is as equal in importance to the actual, trainings out on the roads, out in the water, wherever the venue is that you're doing your training. So these are important. They're necessary for your training. They're adjuncts to your training, and they are, for over 60, very, very important for the recovery process, of which we need more of when we're over 60. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. As always, my goal is to make our second 50 years even better than our first 50 years. That is my goal. I'm already 10 years into my second 50 years, and I'm not willing to slow down. I mean, we're all going to slow down. We all have, aging process going on, but I'm going to try and lengthen that out and elongate the demise as long as possible. So I'm thinking your goals are the same. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're finding that there's valuable to this and you want to maybe pick up some more tools, please go to my website, www.judytorel.com. I welcome you there as well as in this podcast. So thanks for watching, everybody, and be well. Thanks for listening, everybody. And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judytorel.com.